Hi everybody, it's James from Wealthquest. Today we're going to talk about talking about money. We're going to talk about this idea that we call the manual. So in an upcoming episode of the Rich Life podcast, we're going to talk about this idea of the manual, which is really just a way to describe something we tend to do to each other in relationships all the time. We assign kind of a list of tasks or demands to other people that we say, I want you to do this, this, and this in order to make me feel happy. And this happens all the time when it comes to money. We have these preconceived rules, these ideas that have been passed down in many cases from our own parents that say, this is how we always should think about saving, this is how we always should think about spending. And we assign those rules to each other by giving each other a manual. If you don't follow these rules, like an instruction manual, then I will be disappointed in you. And the problem when it comes to money is that that is the conversation that most gurus are having out there right now. They tend to treat people, in a lot of cases, like children. They give them a book, literally a book of rules that says always, always, always do this and never, never, never do that. They are giving them the manual. The problem is that life doesn't follow rules, and money in particular is really twisty and confusing when you try to apply rules to it. And so how do we get out of this cycle of having these back and forth conversations of how we think money should be done? Well, what I would offer to you is the first step is to be curious. Rather than walking in with a set of rules that you're assigning to a situation, when we face this, we should always do that, ask questions. Things like, what do we want from this? What would we hope to achieve here? What's the goal that we're trying to attain? And let's talk about that with open-ended questions rather than closing down the discussion by saying we always pay this off and we always do that, and it shuts it down and we have to fight over whose rule is better. This isn't about rules, it's about wisdom. It's about us discovering together what is our defined path, what is the desire that we have in our hearts. So if we ask questions, what do we want? Then we can start to ask the next questions around, well, what's the best way to get that? And what I think I've found more often than not with clients is that when we open them up with questions, we find there's a lot more overlap in what they're trying to achieve as couples and as families than they think there is. A lot of times they think they're operating in completely different systems, but when you ask questions of what they want, they come together and realize they actually think a lot of the same things. And so when we open that conversation up, we can get rid of the manual and we can start to discover what steps make sense first, second, and third to achieve these goals. Once we've discovered that overlap, it gives us the path that we can follow confidently rather than following someone else's rules that they've assigned to us.